Welcome. Today we're going to explore some of the most valuable Susan B. Anthony dollars, truly iconic coins from the United States of America. United States money bag. In this video, we'll look at the top 5 rare Susan B. Anthony coins, their current market values, and the fascinating era varieties and unique conditions that make these coins so desirable. From rare silver tones to unusual color shades, these coins have become major highlights in the coin collector and investor world. These rare treasures aren't just pieces of American history. They're also some of the most valuable and sought-after coins collectors are hunting today. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or someone who appreciates the beauty and significance of American currency, this video is for you. Let's get started with the first coin. Sparkles. The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar, the coin that changed America's currency forever. In the vast treasury of United States coinage, few coins have carried as much symbolism, controversy, and hidden potential as the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar. Born from an era of bold experimentation and social change, this coin stands as both a tribute to American progress and a reflection of a nation searching for modern identity. To the untrained eye, it might look ordinary. Small, silvery, and easy to mistake for a quarter, but behind its gleam lies a story of revolution, innovation, and unexpected fortune. The year was 1979, a time of transformation in the United States. The space race had reshaped imagination, technology was rapidly advancing, and the role of women in society was evolving faster than ever before. For over a century, U.S. coins had largely celebrated presidents, generals, and male figures of history. But in that pivotal year, something remarkable happened. The mint decided to honor Susan B. Anthony, a woman who had fought her entire life for equality, justice, and the right of women to vote. Susan B. Anthony was not just a historical figure. She was a symbol of persistence. Born in 1820, she had dedicated decades to the suffrage movement, standing against prejudice, ridicule, and even imprisonment to demand that women be granted the same rights as men. When the U.S. Mint placed her image on the $1 coin, it marked the first time in American history that a real woman, not an allegorical figure like Liberty, appeared on a circulating coin. It was a moment of pride and progress, and the coin itself was intended to represent a new era. The 1979 D Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of America's great centers of coin production. This D mark, resting quietly to the right of the date, might seem like a small detail, but to collectors, it's a key to the coin's identity. A sign of where it was born and often a clue to its potential value. Some 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollars are ordinary, yes, but others hold variations, striking errors, and proof-like finishes that can command astonishing prices in today's collector's market. Visually, the coin radiates strength. On the obverse, Anthony's portrait faces right, her expression stern yet dignified, framed by the word liberty above and in God we trust to her right. Around her are 13 stars, a subtle reminder of the nation's original colonies, a symbolic link between America's founding and the fight for equality. The artist, Frank Gasparo, captured her likeness not as a decorative muse, but as a determined leader, the face of defiance and courage cast in metal. Turn the coin over, and you find the reverse design, a soaring American bald eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch. It is a direct echo of the Apollo 11 mission patch, a tribute to human achievement and exploration. Here, the $1,979 unites two great American triumphs: the struggle for equality and the conquest of space. Few coins carry such an elegant blend of moral and technological symbolism. It is both grounded in history and aimed toward the stars. Yet, despite its grand vision, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar met an unexpected fate. Americans were simply not ready for this change. The coin's size, nearly identical to the quarter, caused widespread confusion in daily use. Cashiers, vending machines, and the public all mistook it for 25 cents, leading to frustration and disuse. The very design that was meant to modernize America's currency became its downfall. Within a few years, production was halted, and the coin faded from circulation. But what the public abandoned, collectors reclaimed. As time passed, people began to see the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar not as a failure, but as a rare gem, a piece of American courage that had simply been misunderstood. Its limited lifespan, unique alloy of copper and nickel, and symbolic power gave it new life in the world of numismatics. Some coins, especially those in pristine mint state (MS), or with full strike details, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Even more thrilling are the error varieties, the secret miracles of minting that slipped past inspection during production. Some 1979 D dollars were struck with off-center designs, double dies, or proof-like surfaces that gleam like liquid silver. Others were struck on experimental planchets or had unusual luster, giving them an otherworldly appearance. These variations are the hidden treasures that can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream worth tens of thousands of dollars. While the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar is not made of pure silver, its reflective brilliance often deceives the eye. It shines with a cold, steely elegance that mirrors the spirit of its namesake, unbending, determined, unyielding. In a metaphorical sense, it is a coin made of courage, forged not from precious metal, but from the strength of conviction and the legacy of struggle. Collectors often speak of this coin with reverence, calling it a modern relic, a piece of history that bridges 2 centuries of change. It is the child of a nation that had just walked on the moon and was now learning to walk toward equality. And though millions were minted, only a few survived the years untarnished, their edges still sharp, their luster unbroken, their meaning intact. Today, the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar stands as both a numismatic curiosity and a potential fortune. A single coin with the right condition, perfect strike, or rare mint error could bring staggering prices, even reaching 5 or 6 figures in rare cases. But beyond money, it carries a story of resilience, of the first woman whose image entered every American's hand, whether they realized it or not. To hold one is to hold a piece of transformation, a gleaming reminder of how far a nation has come and how much further it can still go. Beneath its metallic surface lies not just a dollar's worth of value, but the soul of progress itself. So if one day you discover a 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar glinting in an old drawer or coin jar, do not dismiss it. That small piece of metal might just be the key to unimaginable wealth, not only in money but in meaning. It is a coin that defied tradition, challenged perception, and stood for equality when few dared to. And for those lucky enough to possess it, the 1979 D dollar carries the power to change fortunes, perhaps even overnight, because it represents something no amount of money can truly buy: the courage to stand for what's right, immortalized forever in American silver shine. Next up, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, the coin that shook the nation's history and still holds untold fortune. In the dazzling chronicles of American coinage, no coin carries as much drama, controversy, and hidden potential as the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, especially those struck with the D and P mint marks. To many, it was just another dollar coin, but to those who looked deeper, it was a symbol of transformation, a spark that marked a turning point in U.S. history. Beneath its silvery gleam lies a story that intertwines courage, innovation, and the bold dreams of a changing nation. The year 1979 was a period of immense change in the United States. The nation had conquered the moon, the world was evolving into a digital age, and voices demanding equality were growing louder. For decades, U.S. coins had depicted founding fathers and male leaders, leaving the contributions of women unseen. But in 1979, history took a monumental turn when the U.S. Mint unveiled the Susan B. Anthony dollar, honoring a woman who had fought relentlessly for human rights and the right of women to vote. Susan B. Anthony was no ordinary name. She was a symbol of courage, conviction, and progress. Her tireless work for women's suffrage paved the way for equality under the law, and her voice became a weapon against injustice. Placing her portrait on the U.S. dollar was more than a design choice. It was a declaration that women, too, were the backbone of American freedom. It was the first time in history that a real American woman, not an allegorical figure like Lady Liberty, appeared on a circulating U.S. coin, and that decision forever changed the way America looked at its money. The 1979 P and 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollars were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, 2 of the nation's most powerful minting hubs. The P mint mark represented Philadelphia, a city synonymous with America's independence, while the D stood for Denver, a modern mint facility that symbolized the forward march of technology. Though both mints produced millions of coins, only a fraction survived in pristine condition, with flawless detail and unblemished luster. The kind of perfection that makes collectors' hearts race and wallets open wide. The obverse of the coin features Susan B. Anthony's determined profile, engraved by the master sculptor Frank Gasparo. Her gaze is resolute, her jawline strong, a reflection of a woman who faced endless resistance yet never wavered. Encircling her portrait are 13 stars, symbols of the original colonies that fought for freedom, and beside her face, the timeless words, "In God we trust." Above her, liberty shines proudly, as if echoing the spirit of both the nation and the woman it honors. Turn the coin over, and the reverse design tells another powerful story. An eagle descending onto the moon, olive branch in its talons, represents peace and triumph. This imagery was borrowed from the Apollo 11 mission emblem, a nod to one of humanity's greatest achievements. The United States Mint chose this design deliberately. It merged the power of women's equality with the triumph of space exploration, showcasing that progress, whether social or scientific, always begins with courage. Though stunning in symbolism, the coin faced unexpected turmoil upon release. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was the first small-sized U.S. dollar coin, designed to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar. But its size and color made it easily mistaken for a quarter, causing confusion in stores, vending machines, and banks across America. Frustration spread quickly, and within a few years, the coin's production slowed to a halt. What was meant to revolutionize American currency had instead become one of its most misunderstood creations. Yet, what failed in circulation succeeded spectacularly in legacy. As decades passed, collectors began to see the coin for what it truly was, a masterpiece of symbolism, courage, and history. The 1979 D and 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollars became treasures of nostalgia, representing a bold experiment in American numismatics. Their short production run, unique alloy composition of copper and nickel, and association with social progress gave them an allure that few modern coins possess. For those who know where to look, some of these coins hold hidden riches. A flawless mint state, MS 68 or higher example, gleaming with mirror-like surfaces, can command staggering prices. Even more valuable are the rare minting errors, coins with double strikes, off-center designs, or unusual planchets that escaped the mint's watchful eyes. These are the coins that can turn a forgotten dollar into a collector's dream worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in today's market. To the naked eye, these coins may appear to shine like silver, though they are crafted from a copper-nickel alloy. But that illusion is part of their beauty, a symbol of how greatness often hides in simplicity. Their cool metallic sheen reflects not just light, but history itself. They are coins born from the courage of a woman who refused to be silent and from a nation daring to reinvent its identity. Collectors treasure these coins not just for their material value, but for their story. Every 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar represents a conversation between America's past and future, between equality and innovation. The P mint mark coins echo the roots of liberty where the Declaration of Independence was signed, while the D mint mark coins tell of America's western expansion, resilience, and industrial power. Together, they form a perfect balance of tradition and transformation. As time marches on, these coins grow rarer in perfect condition. Their edges soften, their surfaces dull, but their spirit endures. Those who understand their legacy see beyond the dollar sign. They see a living emblem of courage cast in metal. And for the fortunate few who stumble upon a high-grade specimen or a rare minting error, the financial rewards can be extraordinary, enough to change one's fortune overnight. So if you find a 1979 D or 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollar gleaming in an old drawer, don't let it slip through your fingers. That coin is not merely currency. It's a time capsule, a voice of history, a symbol of equality, and possibly a key to unimaginable fortune. Beneath its modest size lies the heart of America's transformation. And for those who truly understand its value, it is not just a coin, but a legacy of power, progress, and prosperity that can light up your destiny like silver fire. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar remains one of the most misunderstood yet magical coins ever minted, a piece of art that dared to redefine who could appear on money and what freedom truly looked like. Its story is the story of America itself, full of ambition, trial, failure, and ultimate triumph. And perhaps, somewhere in your collection or change jar, lies the coin that could rewrite your story too. Next up, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar, the hidden silver flame of America's spirit and fortune. In the grand tapestry of American numismatic history, few coins capture both mystery and modernity as powerfully as the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar, especially those minted with the proud D and P mint marks. At first glance, this coin seems ordinary, small, silvery, and almost modest. But to those who understand its story, it stands as one of the most fascinating and symbolically charged coins in U.S. history. Beneath its copper-nickel glow lies a narrative of transformation, courage, and untold value waiting to reveal its brilliance. The dawn of the 1980s was a decade of rebirth and ambition for America. The country had just overcome the turbulence of the 1970s, economic challenges, political change, and social revolutions, and was stepping into an age of new identity. Amid this transformation, the Susan B. Anthony dollar, introduced only a year earlier in 1979, continued its journey. Though misunderstood by the public, this small yet mighty coin carried the spirit of equality and progress, marking the first time in U.S. history that a real woman, not a mythic figure, was immortalized on circulating currency. Susan B. Anthony's face on the coin wasn't simply a tribute, it was a declaration. Her relentless fight for women's suffrage had redefined what democracy meant in America. She symbolized determination, defiance, and the unyielding pursuit of justice. When her portrait was engraved by Frank Gasparo, it was crafted not as a soft depiction of grace but as a reflection of strength. Her eyes forward, her expression resolute, her legacy unbroken. Each 1980 coin bearing her image was more than a dollar. It was a silent voice for equality cast into metal. The 1980 D, Denver Mint, and 1980 P, Philadelphia Mint, Susan B. Anthony dollars were part of the coin's second year of production. By then, the U.S. Mint had refined the minting process, achieving sharper details and better metal consistency. The coins, composed of copper and nickel bonded over a pure copper core, radiated a silver-like sheen, so convincing that many mistook them for silver dollars. Their metallic brightness was symbolic of an America shining toward a new era, balancing tradition with transformation. Each coin carried the small P or D mint mark tucked near the lower right of Anthony's bust. Though tiny, these letters held immense significance for collectors. Coins from Philadelphia bore the strength of the nation's birthplace, while those from Denver reflected the expanding frontier of minting excellence. Over time, subtle variations in strike quality, rim thickness, and die errors between the two mints gave rise to rare varieties. Specimens now considered numismatic treasures worth far more than their face value. The reverse design of the coin continued to echo the spirit of discovery and progress. The image of an eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission emblem, symbolized humanity's highest achievements. It connected the fight for equality, represented by Anthony, with the triumph of technology and exploration. This powerful blend of ideals, civil rights and cosmic ambition, made the Susan B. Anthony dollar a coin of rare poetic balance, carrying both the heart and mind of America within its circular frame. Yet, despite its beauty and message, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar suffered the same fate as its 1979 predecessor: public confusion. Its size and color were nearly identical to the quarter, leading to frustration in stores and vending machines. Americans resisted it, unaware that they were holding a piece of numismatic history in their hands. But as time passed and circulation dwindled, these coins began to vanish from pockets and enter collections, where their true value would eventually be recognized. In pristine condition, these coins gleam like time capsules. High-grade mint-state examples, preserved without a single touch of wear, can command impressive prices today. More than that, rare minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations, can be worth thousands of dollars to collectors. It's these rare survivors that have transformed what was once considered an unpopular dollar into a potential treasure of astonishing fortune. But beyond their market value, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollars embody something far deeper. They remind us that innovation often goes unrecognized in its own time. The public rejection of the coin in the 1980s mirrors how Susan B. Anthony herself was dismissed during her life. Yet, just as her legacy rose triumphant in the years that followed, so too has her coin become a cherished artifact, admired, studied, and sought by those who see beyond its metallic surface. Each glimmer of the 1980D and 1980p dollars whispers of forgotten progress. They were minted at a moment when America was redefining what strength, equality, and innovation meant. The coins carry the pulse of a nation stepping into the modern era, honoring both the courage of the past and the possibilities of the future. For collectors, owning one is more than possessing a piece of money. It's owning a fragment of American spirit. The coin's design, its bold history, and its misunderstood beginning have elevated it from simple currency to a symbol of resilience. The 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar is a reminder that sometimes greatness hides in plain sight, waiting patiently for history to catch up. And now, as decades have passed, these coins are finding their voice again. Collectors and historians treasure them as relics of a transitional time, when America dared to place equality and progress on its most powerful symbol, its money. To hold one is to touch the echo of a revolution that began not in politics, but in the human heart. So, if you come across a 1980 D or 1980 P Susan B. Anthony dollar, treat it with reverence. That modest coin may hold the power to change your fortune overnight, both in wealth and wisdom. It is not just metal and minting, it is the heartbeat of progress, sealed in silver-like brilliance, carrying the courage of Susan B. Anthony herself. In every shine of its surface, it whispers a promise that fortune, freedom, and equality belong to those bold enough to believe, just as she once did. Next up, the year 1979 stands as one of the most fascinating moments in the history of American coinage. A year when the United States Mint introduced a dollar that broke tradition, defied expectations, and carried the face of a woman who symbolized justice and courage. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony $1 coin, especially the ones bearing the P mint mark, remains one of the most misunderstood yet secretly powerful coins ever struck in modern America. Its story isn't just about metal and minting. It's about the fight for equality, the transformation of national ideals, and the silent treasures that destiny hides in plain sight. When the Susan B. Anthony dollar first emerged, it was meant to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar, which was too large and inconvenient for everyday use. The U.S. Mint wanted something smaller, lighter, and more modern, a coin that could fit neatly into the pockets of an advancing nation. But what they created was far more than just a coin. The 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar was a statement, a small, circular monument to women's rights, innovation, and the eternal spirit of progress that defines America. At its heart was the woman herself, Susan Brownell Anthony, a reformer who dedicated her life to the pursuit of equality. Her name had been carved into the soul of American history through decades of unrelenting activism. She had fought for the right of women to vote, to speak, to stand as equals in a world that often denied their voices. To immortalize her in the hard shine of metal was an act of poetic justice, a declaration that her legacy would circulate forever in the hands of the nation she helped change. The P mint mark engraved just beside her neck carried its own quiet revolution. It marked the first time the Philadelphia Mint had ever placed its identifying letter on a circulating dollar coin. It was as though the birthplace of American independence wanted to sign its name proudly on this symbol of freedom and equality. The coin shimmered with a silvery hue. Though it was not made of silver, it reflected light with such brilliance that it fooled the eye, and perhaps it mirrored the deceptive simplicity of its value. For within this small metallic disc was a fortune waiting to be recognized. The design of the coin is a masterpiece of meaning. On the obverse, Susan B. Anthony's stern but determined face gazes into eternity, surrounded by 13 stars, one for each of the original colonies. Her expression is resolute, almost unyielding, as if she's daring time itself to forget her struggle. The reverse side carries an eagle landing on the moon, grasping an olive branch, an echo of the Apollo 11 mission, the first human step beyond Earth. The message was unmistakable. America's courage extends from the fight for human rights to the conquest of the cosmos. But when the coin entered circulation, the reaction was far from what the mint expected. The public mistook the Susan B. Anthony dollar for a quarter because of its similar size and color. People found it confusing, vending machines rejected it, and cashiers complained about it. In a strange twist of fate, What was meant to symbolize progress became a victim of misunderstanding. The government soon halted production, but destiny had already begun weaving a different kind of value into the story of this coin. Hidden among the millions struck in 1979 were rare varieties, subtle differences that made certain coins extraordinary. The 1979 P wide rim, or near-date variety, became the most sought after. On this version, the date sits closer to the rim, giving the coin a bolder, more striking appearance. Few realized it at the time, but this tiny difference would one day transform an ordinary dollar into a collector's dream, a coin capable of fetching thousands of dollars under the bright lights of auction houses. Over the decades, the 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar began to rise from obscurity. As numismatists, coin experts and collectors revisited its story, they saw beyond its misunderstood beginning. They saw a symbol of resilience, much like Susan B. Anthony herself, who was once ignored in her lifetime but later celebrated as one of America's greatest reformers. The coin's journey mirrored her own, dismissed at first, only to emerge as an icon of value and victory. Today, in pristine condition, especially with proof-like surfaces or rare die varieties, this coin can be worth a small fortune. The so-called unimaginable value comes not from its metal but from its legacy. The 1979 P dollar whispers of a time when America dared to honor a woman on its currency. A time when art, history, and courage were pressed into a circle of metal that continues to defy the odds. Some rare examples have fetched prices that make collectors' hearts race, proving that fortune often hides in the overlooked corners of history. There's a certain magic in the idea that something so small could carry such weight. Hold a 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar in your hand and you feel the chill of time itself, the hum of the mint's great machines, the echo of ideals struck into the surface, the glint of possibility. Its edges, finely reeded and cold to the touch, are the fingerprints of American craftsmanship, a testament to the relentless pursuit of perfection. For many collectors, this coin is not merely a piece of currency. It's a portal to the past. It connects the dreamers of the Apollo era to the reformers of the 19th century, all through one symbol of strength. The P mint mark becomes a signature of both the city of liberty and the woman who fought for it. And though it may not shine with actual silver, it gleams with something far rarer: the power of meaning, heritage, and untold potential. The true beauty of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar lies in its irony. A coin that was born from a desire to simplify life, yet became one of the most complex and mysterious chapters in modern numismatics. It is the coin that history underestimated, just as it underestimated the woman who graces its face. Both rose from the ashes of indifference to achieve immortal recognition. In today's coin market, collectors worldwide search tirelessly for pristine examples, those struck sharply, untouched by circulation, or bearing that coveted wide rim signature. Each one discovered feels like unearthing buried treasure. And to the fortunate few who find one, it's as though history itself has rewarded their curiosity with fortune. So, if ever you come across a 1979 P. Susan B. Anthony dollar, hold it tightly. Don't spend it, don't overlook it, and don't underestimate its potential. That tiny coin, with its humble gleam and quiet dignity, carries within it the spirit of transformation, and perhaps the power to change your fortune overnight. In a world where history and destiny often meet in silence, this coin speaks loudly, echoing the voice of Susan B. Anthony herself. Failure is impossible.